It seems these days there's a vape shop on every street corner. And while changes in New Zealand are planned, there's still concern that vaping has introduced a wave of new generation smokers going digital. In Australia, similar concerns have prompted a crackdown on the sale of disposable vapes and the requirement to obtain a prescription. But health experts say it's having the reverse effect, driving an underground black market. I spoke with Australian anti-tobacco campaigner Dr. Colin Mendelsohn, who says the prescription model is a slow train wreck.
Well, we've been using this prescription model for 18 months now, and what's happened is that the uptake by vapers has been very small, so less than 8% actually have a prescription. The vast majority buy their supplies through the black market. So 92% of adult users and young people are buying products directly through the black market. So they're buying unregulated products supplied by criminal gangs, and clearly that's not satisfactory. There are no age restrictions in the black market, and the products are not being assessed for quality or safety.
Are you against vaping as a cessation tool for smoking, or do you find that there is a way to help people quit smoking, but the way it's being applied isn't correct?
Look, I think there's no question now. The evidence is becoming stronger and stronger that vaping is a highly effective method. It's the most effective method we have. It's not perfect, but it's by far the most effective method. And we need to get this balance right of getting it out to people and with products that are safe and that are quality products, and giving people the right information, and at the same time discouraging young people from using these products.
Do people who want to quit smoking, are they still wanting to use those disposable products that aren't available? Is there a reason that they refuse to go and get a script for it?
Look, there are various reasons. One of the problems is that doctors are reluctant to provide nicotine prescriptions. I mean, doctors in Australia are getting constant negative messaging about vaping, and they're uncertain about it. And there are medical legal issues for them prescribing products that aren't officially approved. And patients are wondering why on earth they have to go to a doctor to get a prescription when they can go to the corner store to buy cigarettes.
Is the prescription model the real problem here, or is it just the availability of these disposable vapes and that black market in general that's interfering with the prescription model?
Look, I think the prescription model is the problem. It's created the black market. There'll always be a black market, but because adults are finding it so difficult to get nicotine vaping products, they're just going to the black market, which of course is always easy and accessible. And I think the prescription model has created so many problems now. I think it would be a big mistake for New Zealand to go down that path. I have mixed feelings about the disposable ban. I think disposables have an important role for adults, for some adult smokers, and I think they should ideally be available for transition for people who want to switch from a cigarette. But there is the concern about them being more appealing to young people.
But I'm wondering, I mean, the cost of a pack of cigarettes is not cheap. If you're a smoker, you can afford a non-disposable vape anyway. So is that really an argument? Is that a fair way of putting it, that you have to have a cheaper option available? If you can afford ciggies, you can afford a vape.
Yes, look, I think people can afford ciggies because they have to afford ciggies because they're addicted. And I think we need to give people as many incentives as possible to make that switch. And it's been shown that if we can make these products and alternatives cheaper, they're more attractive, and that'll encourage more people to make the switch. And from a public health point of view, that is our goal. So people will always find money for cigarettes if they have to.
And that is a concern, although I note you say kids should not vape, but the risks are exaggerated. That's not a comment we hear many health officials say.
Well, it's not a comment you'll hear in the media either. We just did a review recently, which we published a peer-reviewed article on this subject, and we found that overall vaping is diverting young people away from smoking. The actual harms to young people are small. Most use by young people who have never smoked is only experimental or occasional. And very few young people who have never smoked actually become addicted to nicotine. There's lots of misinformation that nicotine harms the adolescent brain. We don't have any evidence for that. And the evidence for other harms is actually very modest. So Yes, look, of course, these products are not risk-free and we don't recommend them for kids. But at a population level, we think overall they're actually beneficial for young people.
You said they were beneficial to young people in respect of if they are already addicted to cigarettes?
No, beneficial overall to the population, because what they're doing is diverting young people who would have otherwise smoked away from smoking. So they'll experiment with vaping for a while and not go on to smoking. And in most countries where vaping rates are rising in young people, smoking rates are falling faster than they ever have. So by far, that's the most important outcome from the use of these products, that they act as an alternative to deadly cigarettes, and that's a good thing.
I know that some people will be watching this saying, are you kidding? Because I see vape shops everywhere and I see kids vaping everywhere, and you're seriously arguing we should make them more available potentially to help people because the trade-off is worth it. So is this a case of politicians giving in to the public's outrage over this issue?
I think it very much is. I think if you look at the evidence, it's now fairly clear. But of course, politicians have committed themselves to a particular narrative, and I think the media tend to support a fairly negative narrative about vaping. I mean, these are the stories that sell newspapers and make headlines. But the research, as time's gone by, has shown that vaping is not as harmful as we thought it was. We don't want kids using it, and I'm not suggesting that, but I'm saying it's not as harmful as we thought. And overall, it seems to be actually protecting the health of young people.
Dr. Colin Mendelsohn, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts this morning.
My pleasure, Anna. Thank you.